Hello, hello, and welcome to today's Q&A where I answer questions that you guys have submitted. Don't forget, this is my advice based off of my experience. So if something doesn't resonate with you or you don't agree with it, then totally fine. Make the best decision for you, okay? All right, let's get into it. Okay, so the first question is, did you use dating apps and what are your tips for dating online? So yes, when I was in my 20s, I used Bumble, Hinge, this other one in LA, I can't remember the name of it anymore. So yes, I totally use dating apps. My current fiance and I actually met through a friend, but I use dating apps all the time. I think they're great because they're making the pool of people that you have access to that much bigger. It's not somebody that you just meet in a bar or that you happen to meet out. You can kind of narrow down what you like and don't like. And as harsh as it sounds, you can quickly be like, no, I would never date this person. Like, next. So it makes the pool that much bigger. So I think dating apps are great. Some of my tips for dating apps are, the first one is be yourself. If you're going to pretend to be someone, then a dating app isn't the place to do it because your real self is eventually going to come out. So be like your goofy self. When there's somewhere you can add something in, like put what you would actually put something funny, put something sarcastic, put something that shows your personality. I also think don't take things too personally. It's a dating app. So if you get like ghosted or whatever on the app, I don't even consider that getting ghosted. Dating apps are kind of savage. Like sometimes people just don't write you back. I never even had my notifications on for mine, so I would forget for like weeks sometimes. So try not to take things too personally on the apps. But love dating apps. Get on there, get out there. When you get worn out from them, take a break, delete them for a while, and then come back to them. But just be yourself. Be your silly, goofy, whatever, normal self on there. That's my best advice. I'm seeing texts on my boyfriend's phone from another girl. He says that they're just friends, but I'm feeling insecure. Help. I mean, I could make an entire video on men having friendships with women when they're in relationships. I have a ton of opinions on that. But for this specifically, I will say this. When you're feeling insecure about anything in your relationship, doesn't matter what it is, you should be able to voice that to your partner and for them to respect that, have a conversation about it, and do what they need to do to make you feel comfortable. Whether that is, going in depth, talking about it in detail, having you meet this person even, to where you feel comfortable. Or for me personally, it would be, I don't think you should be texting with another woman when you're in a relationship. That might be super uptight, but if I haven't met her, I don't know her, then to me, that would make me uncomfortable. So it really depends where your relationship's at. It also depends on your age too. When you're younger, it feels a little bit different, at least to me. Being older, I'm like, no, that's inappropriate. He shouldn't be texting another woman that I haven't met. But it really depends on your relationship. But overall, it's worth having a conversation, dig a little deeper. Whenever you feel uncomfortable about something, then it's worth looking into. I will also say that it is worth looking into things that personally trigger you or make you feel insecure with a therapist or just your own self journey. I'm not saying that this is something that shouldn't make you insecure, because it is something that would bother me as well, but it's always worth looking into things that make us feel a certain way as an individual. So if you're feeling really jealous or you feel really triggered by something, that's always worth doing a deeper dive on and seeing why do I feel that way? Is this truly something someone else is doing? Or is this a past event or something internal that's sparking this reaction? That's just a side note. All right, next question. What to do when you're in a season of stubbornness and you're trying to take control? This is such a great question, and I felt like this throughout so much of my 20s, where I feel really, really motivated, and then you kind of have that crash down again where you're like, I just can't get the wheels turning, I can't get moving. I think for me, what's really important when you're in this kind of season of stubbornness, I love that you put it that way, is getting moving on something. Doesn't matter what it is. It could literally be baking or cooking or reading or learning a new language. It doesn't have to relate to money whatsoever. Getting moving in a direction on anything is important, because that's going to start getting the ball rolling on just I'm being productive again. I'm learning something. I'm doing something new. rather than just like being stuck in this really frustrating cycle of like, I just can't get going. I can't get moving on anything. My career sucks. My friendships suck. Everything starts to spiral when you feel really stuck. So actually, in the Fully Friday community, we have, I've created monthly challenges, and every single month is a new challenge, whether it's like a baking challenge or meditation for a month or cleaning out, doing like a spring cleaning out old clothes, just like getting rid of clutter. Just doing anything to get moving is going to help. So that's where I would start. Been in a relationship for 5 years and I'm afraid I'm growing out of it. Any ideas on how to know? Yes. I was in a relationship on again, off again with my college boyfriend for like 7 years. And this is just my advice. Don't forget that. I think if you're feeling that way, then it's probably for a reason, but that's not always the case. Relationships ebb and flow for sure. But for me, when I was feeling that way, it also was kind of paired with anxiety of spending my life with this person. There's that very real idea of like, wow, am I never going to date anyone else? Am I never going to be with anyone else? And I think if anxiety accompanies these thoughts, then that's something to lean into and kind of try and figure out. For me, I was always anxious when I thought about spending my life with this person. And whenever that came up, it would like give me severe anxiety to think about him proposing to me. Then it would go away and we'd be happy for a couple of months, and then it would kind of like crop up again. So I finally leaned into that, did some digging, and was like, yeah, this isn't for me. And I can say now that I'm engaged to somebody else years later, I've never once had that feeling where I was like anxious about the idea of spending our life together. But once you make that decision of like, I'm committed to this, I'm very happy with this, and I don't feel anxiety with this, then I think that's a healthy place to be. How to motivate yourself? This is a great question, and I think we've all been trained that motivation is everything, right? Like people are successful because they're just so motivated. And motivation is certainly a part of it. That's why we start things, because we feel motivated. Sticking with things isn't always motivation. Motivation goes up and comes down. It goes up and comes down. We've all been there where we wanted to start working out. We feel really motivated for a couple of days, and then a few days later, we're like, no way, I don't want to work out today. Like, how do I motivate myself? I don't think that there's a way to motivate yourself. I think that it's a discipline. You decide, this is something that means a lot to me. I'm going to stay disciplined. I'm going to stay consistent until I achieve what I want to achieve. That's what I've seen, at least. Whenever I tried to do something solely on motivation, I never finished it because motivation doesn't stay with you all the time. Having a discipline around something is really important. And when I say I'm going to be disciplined in doing this and I'm going to do it every single day because it means a lot to me, then it gets done. So nobody does anything until they're tired of their own shit. I can tell you that honestly. Until you start and stop enough and you're so tired of your shit, of you just like not getting it done, then you'll get it done. So that's my best advice, is be disciplined, write it down, have your goals set, and start chipping away at it slowly but surely. Consistency certainly pays off.